Today we're going to talk about two things that I really don't like. James Gunn and the show Peacemaker. Monkeys, roll the footage.
Yeah, that works.
I like
all right,
that a lot.
okay. All right, moving on.
Hey, what about Tulip?
Here we are, bounding into comics. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Peacemaker series Butterflies. We're trying to save humanity from climate change and anti-science. I don't really want to focus on the Peacemaker parts of this article as much as I do the James Gunn parts of this article. We'll get into this. We'll go through it. J.B. Augustine today, bounding into comics. Showrunner James Gunn made Peacemaker his own in the Suicide Squad in the titular HBO Max series, having little concern for DC or Charlton Comics source material, and surely no one could save the character from Gunn's liberal imagination or Warner Brothers TV. And yeah, in the first episode, you could really see them leaning into James Gunn's politics with the way that Cena and more Robert Patrick's character were portrayed. And even in the Suicide Squad movie with Peacemaker, you know, he's obviously a very, he's a right-wing kind of figure. And then you have his father, who they, you know, the racist, anti-everything, alt-right, you know, right-wing, whatever pejoratives they could throw at him there. So that's just James Gunn because, well, let's be honest, James Gunn's a piece of shit. I don't care how long it's been since his tweets. He can basically go and insert something somewhere and spin around repeatedly on it because he's garbage. But then again, he'd probably like that. Not that this bothered the filmmaker known for his lewd body horror and subversive comic book adaptations. Gunn was only using the Peacemaker IP to push the message Hollywood never tires of sending, which is humanity is bad. Of course, this is kind of like the Godzilla thing. It's like the whole eco-terrorist, we're going to destroy all life on Earth and kill ourselves just to prove a point. Well, who are you proving that point to if we're all dead, you dumb shit? Like, these people are just idiots. This, humanity's so bad for the Earth, we all need to die. It's like, what? You people are idiots. See the major plot twist in the season finale. Spoiler ahead, which I don't care. I watched one episode. The mind-body possessing alien parasites Amanda Waller commissioned Peacemaker and company to stop were actually trying to save humans from themselves, and specifically anti-science climate-altering behavior. There it is. That climate-altering behavior. The lead butterfly, Goff, who was using police detective Sophie Song, even says as much about her species' plans of conquest. Gunn, writing her dialogue naturally, is of the like mind. Of course he is, because James Gunn is one of these hive mind weirdos. He admitted, though, to Variety he thinks he made the butterflies layered by borrowing motives from Marvel's Thanos. I didn't want to make their goal something that was just, you know, hey, we want to take over the universe, we want to conquer, we're thoroughly evil, he said. I wanted the butterflies to be characters that were as multi-layered as the other characters were, and I think that Goff in particular, as the leader of the butterflies, is a character who I like a lot and really find interesting. She's very much like Peacemaker, he added. And this still is not enough to entice me to watch this show. Kind of, except climate change was on her mind more than it would be Peacemaker's, who's an errant alt-right caricature by design. Although the lead and the hero of the story, he serves as a commentary on everything James Gunn takes issue with. That includes denying science. We made the show while vaccines were starting up. I mean, there's so much anti-science out there, Gunn said. Anti-climate change to me is a really big thing. And there we have the main motivations for this series by the series creator, who is an odd, weird, and we know his history. We know the things that he's said and done. Anybody that dresses like a Catholic priest and has a party like that, like he did, I'm sorry, you're projecting what you pretend and try so hard to internalize, Gunn. You're shit. And I wouldn't let this man in the same room with my child. He added, believing that climate change is not affected by humankind, that's anti-science. It's not believing anything that has to do with people who are experts in their fields, have been working their whole lives to do that, whether it's with vaccinations or climate change or whatever. So James Gunn basically wants everybody to follow the mainstream media narrative, shut up and accept it, or else you're a bigot or alt-right, is basically what his mindset is. And Gunn draws from his own experiences with the internet that got him fired once, and now he sees America. I think a lot, Gunn says, of how Peacemaker lines up with that experience. Yeah, sure it does, buddy. Sure it does, because you're a weird piece of shit. Some of that lines up with what we've seen uncovered in the United States over the past few years that has nothing to do with me, he explained. Yeah, there's deflection. I mean, the fact that Peacemaker believes any Facebook meme he reads and somehow thinks that's totally fact, that's how we get in the place where, you know, people that believe masks somehow cause harm. I mean, that's just nonsense. Interestingly, it's Gunn who appears to be anti-science, as a non-peer-reviewed study from August 2021 claims children born during the pandemic have significantly reduced verbal, motor, and overall cognitive performance compared to children born pre-pandemic. Well, yeah, that stands to reason, because if you spend your life only looking at people's eyes, the early part of your developmental, how are you going to learn how to read emotions, facial features, communication? It makes no sense. And it specifically brings up mask wearing as one of those possible causes. Masks worn in public settings and in school or daycare settings may impact the range of early developing skills such as attachment, facial processing, and socio-emotional processing. Of course it will. The face gives off, you give off your facial expressions, which are keys to emotions, which are internalized. So that is obviously going to cause delays in children. I wasn't exactly going to come on here and talk about the Peacemaker show and how that went, because like I said, I quit watching after one episode, because I'm not going to support John Cena, who sold out to China and made that half-assed apology over there to Xi Jinping and the communist regime that like to put the Uyghur Muslims in those camps where you have to go to learn how to think harder. You know what I'm talking about. YouTube doesn't like that kind of language because those are facts, and facts scare people who like to propagate false narratives and demonetize small creators for stating aforementioned facts and truths. So we'll talk about James Gunn and him being a just disgusting, vile piece of shit who wants to project all his own internalized biases, prejudices, and odd illegal sexual proclivities on to other people and make them seem like they're bad people. This is what scumbags do. This is what degenerates do. This is what vile human filth that doesn't walk, it crawls do. They make everybody around them feel like they're doing things wrong to cover for their own misgivings, misdeeds, sins, and transgressions, ladies and gentlemen. And I refuse to support that. I do. I know, and there's a lot of people going, oh, what about this? What about that? Let's not talk about whataboutisms, because we know how much whataboutisms hold up. And I would like anybody, honestly, to give me a reason why I shouldn't hold James Gunn to this standard. Why I shouldn't look at James Gunn like a vile, disgusting piece of shit. Where is the redeeming quality in James Gunn? Oh, is it because his show makes you laugh? Is it because his shows he's just so funny? Oh my God, it's humor. Like, you do realize where that humor comes from, right? You do realize that. Those old tweets, everybody's like, oh, you can't fire James Gunn for this. He directed Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, that's some fucking crowning achievement to make up for the weird shit that this guy is into. Yeah, he fits right in with the rest of these Hollywood elite scumbags who run in those circles. You know exactly which circles I'm talking about. The same kind of circles that would get on a certain plane and fly to a certain island. Yeah, those kind of scumbags. Because that's exactly who James Gunn is. And he thinly veils it behind his, it's just dark, macabre humor. No, this isn't dark humor. This is humor that says, I'm a piece of shit and I'm deflecting by using humor. And it doesn't work, James. It doesn't work. We see through that shit, bro. We see through it. So what do you think? Do you think James Gunn is just blowing smoke and using deflectionary tactics here? Is this what James Gunn is doing? Because that's what I think. You are free to disagree with me and do so in the comments below. Do all the YouTube things. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, ding the bell for notifications so you know when we go live or upload another video. We got more reviews coming this week, at least 2 more reviews, 3 reviews coming this week. Batwoman, Bel Air, and Friday, Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Vassy. We got the live show tonight, 8:35. Me, Tony, Vinny, and Red, the Four Horsemen of Monday nights. Wednesday night, me and Tony will be joined by Mr. Grant Gregory, Yeti Cast, and maybe one more guest. So we are working hard behind the scenes to provide you with content, entertainment, and break down everything in the world of pop culture. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tepo Queen of the Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of you. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow. I'll catch you on the next one. Remember,
it's better to burn out than to fade away.